Forbes just dropped its 2025 list of the most powerful women in sports, and sitting comfortably at number 4 is Caitlin Clark, the highest-ranked athlete on the entire list. This isn't just another superstar making headlines. This is the player who turned a single season into an estimated $1 million, completely redefining what earning potential looks like for female athletes. But here's where things get really interesting. A'ja Wilson, who landed at number 15 on the list, has had a reaction that many fans are calling eyebrow-raising. What started with frustration over Clark's Nike deal now appears to have escalated into a very public pattern of resentment. The numbers don't lie, and neither do the reactions playing out in real time. Before we break it all down, let me ask you this. Why do you think A'ja Wilson seems so bothered by Caitlin Clark's rise? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Now let's talk money, because this is where everything changes. The average WNBA rookie earns roughly $60,000 in their first season. Caitlin Clark, she walked away with $1 million. That's not a typo. Those figures forced even veteran players to rethink everything they believed about financial ceilings in women's basketball. Clark's actual WNBA salary was modest by comparison. The league's rookie minimum sits around $64,000, and her base pay wasn't much higher. But off the court, that's where the real story begins. While other first-year players were budgeting for groceries and splitting rent, Clark was sitting in boardrooms, negotiating deals worth more than some entire franchises. The Nike contract set the tone for everything that followed. 8 years, $28 million guaranteed. That single deal placed Clark in territory no WNBA player had ever reached. Many established stars had never seen an endorsement anywhere near that scale. Clark locked in generational wealth before her first professional season even tipped off. And Nike was only the beginning. Gatorade came calling, and the dominoes kept falling. If you want this rewritten to sound more neutral, more investigative, or even more dramatic, I can adjust it. Next came Gatorade, and that partnership placed Clark in a category reserved for the absolute elite. We're talking about brand territory shared by icons like LeBron James and Serena Williams. No WNBA athlete had ever reached that level of corporate recognition. Gatorade doesn't hand out deals lightly. They invest in athletes who move products and shape culture. Clark checked every box. Wilson Sporting Goods added another powerful layer to her growing empire. This wasn't just another endorsement. It made Clark the face of basketballs and equipment across major sports retailers. In fact, she became the first athlete Wilson had centered a basketball campaign around since Michael Jordan. Every time a fan walks into a sporting goods store and sees Clark's image on display, that's revenue flowing directly into her pocket. Speaking engagements quickly became another lucrative stream. Clark began commanding appearance fees for corporate events and conferences that exceeded what some WNBA players earn in an entire season. Companies weren't just paying for her basketball resume. They were buying her ability to draw crowds, generate buzz, and elevate their brand presence. The TV numbers tell the real story behind Clark's earning power. Games featuring Clark saw viewership spike by as much as 400% compared to typical WNBA broadcasts. Networks began bidding against each other for the rights to air Fever games. Advertisers lined up to secure commercial slots whenever Clark was on the floor. Revenue streams that once barely existed in women's basketball suddenly became major profit centers. Attendance followed the same explosive trend. Cities hosting Fever games saw ticket sales skyrocket beyond anything they'd experienced before. Merchandise sales surged wherever Clark played. Even local businesses around arenas reported increased foot traffic on game days. Clark wasn't just playing basketball, she was driving economic activity across entire cities. And her social media presence translated directly into marketing value that brands simply couldn't ignore. Millions of followers engaged with her every post, creating a level of advertising reach that traditional sports marketing rarely delivers. Companies quickly realized Clark was tapping into demographics that had never paid attention to women's basketball before. The Forbes ranking made the financial gap impossible to overlook. Clark's $1 million in earnings dwarfed the next closest player, Sabrina Ionescu, who brought in $3 million. That gap wasn't accidental. It reflected the premium brands were willing to pay for Clark's rare combination of elite performance and mass market appeal. Corporate America recognized what fans already knew: Clark possessed something special that couldn't be taught or replicated. Her influence extended far beyond the court because she attracted new audiences while still earning the respect of longtime basketball fans. Her financial success proved that female athletes can command serious money when talent, timing, and personality align. Clark didn't just break earning records. She redefined what was possible for women's basketball in terms of commercial power and market value. But not everyone celebrated that shift. Some veterans watched Clark's rise with growing resentment, setting the stage for reactions that revealed how threatened certain established players felt as the landscape began to change. That resentment didn't appear overnight. It had been simmering for months, bubbling up through social media posts and interviews that offered glimpses into how some players truly felt about Clark's meteoric ascent. The pattern started early and only intensified as her star continued to rise. The breaking point came with the Nike deal. While Clark was celebrating her historic contract, Wilson took to social media with posts questioning why rookies were receiving opportunities that veterans had earned over years in the league. She never mentioned Clark by name, but the message was unmistakable. By name, but the timing made her target obvious. Wilson began reposting old photos with Nike executives, subtly reminding everyone that she, too, had long-standing brand relationships. What started as a quiet reminder quickly evolved into something far more deliberate. Over the following weeks, Wilson flooded her social media with posts highlighting veteran accomplishments, expectations for newcomers, and the importance of paying dues. Each post felt like a direct response to Clark dominating sports headlines. Her Instagram stories turned into a running commentary on media hype and what she seemed to view as undeserved attention. The "I have a shoe too" phase marked Wilson's most transparent attempt to reclaim the spotlight. She posted her Nike signature sneaker from every possible angle, tagging the brand alongside captions about loyalty, longevity, and veteran status. She even resurfaced throwback content from her shoe launch events, something she had never done consistently before Clark entered the picture. Then came Time magazine's Athlete of the Year announcement, which appeared to push Wilson over another edge. Her congratulatory post for Caitlin Clark consisted of a single sentence, stripped of enthusiasm or any personal touch. That reaction stood out sharply when compared to the multi-paragraph, celebratory posts Wilson routinely shared when other players received major honors. Wilson's social media history shows she typically goes all out in supporting fellow athletes, which made her muted response to Clark impossible to ignore. And the timing couldn't have been worse. Reports surfaced that Wilson's signature shoe wasn't moving units, while Clark's endorsements continued to dominate sports business headlines. Retail data showed Wilson's sneakers sitting on shelves, while anything associated with Clark was flying off them. Connected to Clark sold out almost instantly. Wilson couldn't escape the comparison between her established, but increasingly stagnant, brand presence and Clark's explosive market appeal. The contrast only grew more uncomfortable as Clark's influence continued to expand. That tension spilled into another area, speaking engagements. For the first time, Wilson began publicly posting about her appearance fees, sharing backstage photos from corporate events, and highlighting bookings in ways that felt forced. This was a noticeable shift. Wilson had been doing corporate appearances for years without broadcasting them online, but Clark's high-profile speaking deals suddenly made visibility feel urgent. As the season progressed, Wilson's social media tone shifted again, this time toward questioning Clark's actual impact on the sport. She began posting veteran scoring records, long-term WNBA viewership statistics, and legacy achievements, framing them around phrases like real impact and sustained excellence. The timing and wording made the target clear. These weren't general league discussions, they were pointed responses to Clark's continued rise. Subtle digs about hype versus substance and the need to prove yourself over time became more frequent. And while none of it mentioned Clark directly, the pattern was unmistakable. Wilson wasn't reacting to basketball results, she was reacting to relevance. At its core, this wasn't about wins, stats, or championships. It was about watching someone else become the face of women's basketball almost overnight. Wilson spent years building her brand and cementing her legacy, only to see Clark eclipse her cultural influence in a matter of months. Wilson's behavior painted the picture of a veteran struggling to share the spotlight with a player who was not only more marketable, but arriving at exactly the right moment. Passive-aggressive posts, muted public support, and carefully worded critiques revealed a deep discomfort with the league's changing hierarchy. The Forbes announcement was the breaking point, the moment when months of subtle resentment spilled fully into public view. Forbes doesn't hand out rankings lightly. Their list of the most powerful women in sports is built on hard data, earnings, endorsement value, social media reach, cultural impact, and financial influence across multiple sectors. Clark dominated every category that mattered. Forbes analyzed proprietary team valuations, brand revenue, media mentions, and engagement metrics, and Clark's numbers told a story that couldn't be disputed. She landed at number 4 overall, making her the highest-ranked athlete on the list, surpassing tennis legends and Olympic champions who've spent decades building their brands. Clark achieved in a single year what most athletes chase their entire careers. Her social media engagement outperformed stars with far larger followings, catching the attention of marketing executives who understand that engagement, not follower count, is what drives revenue. Brands saw value they couldn't replicate elsewhere. Even more striking was Clark's cultural impact. She brought entirely new audiences into women's basketball. Families who had never watched the WNBA became regular viewers. Young girls picked up basketball because they wanted to be her. Corporate leaders who once ignored women's sports suddenly recognized untapped profit potential. Forbes specifically highlighted Clark's ability to generate revenue beyond her own earnings. Fever home games triggered ticket sellouts. Host cities saw boosts in tourism and local business traffic. Broadcast networks competed aggressively for the rights to air her games. Clark wasn't just changing the league, she was reshaping the economic ecosystem around it. And her crossover appeal into other sports only confirmed one thing. This wasn't a moment. It was a movement, demonstrated an influence that extended far beyond basketball. Clark's participation in Pro-Am golf tournaments drew mainstream media attention, with sports networks highlighting her appearances across multiple athletic events. That kind of multi-sport recognition is something Wilson has never achieved, despite years of attempting to broaden her brand. Clark's endorsement portfolio set her apart from traditional single sport athletes. Brands didn't see her as just a basketball player. Nike, Gatorade, and Wilson each approached her with distinct strategies, recognizing her ability to reach audiences well beyond hardcore basketball fans. These weren't typical endorsement deals. They mirrored marketing plans, usually reserved for global superstars who transcend sports entirely. Clark's estimated $1 million in annual earnings signaled a fundamental shift in how female athletes are valued. Forbes highlighted that figure as proof of her rapidly expanding influence and marketability. It represented far more than personal income. It showed what's possible when elite talent meets perfect timing, cultural relevance, and smart branding. The ranking confirmed what had become impossible to deny. Within just 12 months of turning professional, Clark had emerged as the most powerful force in women's sports. She ranked above nationally recognized athletes who had spent years building their profiles. Forbes essentially validated what fans already knew. Clark's rise was unprecedented. That recognition followed her Time Athlete of the Year honor and the Associated Press Female Athlete of the Year award, creating a streak of mainstream acknowledgement no WNBA player had ever experienced. Clark wasn't just a star. She became a cultural and commercial phenomenon, redefining expectations for women's sports. In 2024 alone, Clark was responsible for 26.5% of the WNBA's total economic activity, while securing endorsement deals that reshaped the league's business landscape. That reality made the contrast impossible to ignore, and Wilson's reaction to Forbes crowning Clark spoke volumes. Clark's success proves that raw talent paired with genuine personality creates unstoppable momentum. Wilson's increasingly public frustration reveals what happens when established players feel their status slipping away. The numbers don't lie about who drives revenue, attention, and cultural impact in women's basketball. As the 2026 season approaches, Fever fans are watching something rare take shape, the foundation of a potential dynasty built around a player who transcends sports entirely. Clark's influence now stretches from the court to corporate boardrooms and living rooms across the country. Wilson can continue posting passive-aggressive content and expressing frustration over recognition she believes she deserves. Clark has already reshaped what female athletes can achieve, financially, culturally, and historically. So what do you think? Why does Aya Wilson seem so threatened by Caitlin Clark's rise? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And click the video on screen. We'll see you in the next one.